art of living by taking beautiful pictures, appreciating nature with walks through the woods, and even keeping the wife happy by mowing the grass and vacuuming the pool. From the Competent Communicator speech number 2, he's also doing the Organize Your Speech, titled, Don't Let Life Pass You By. I present to you Toastmaster Wayne Roth.
It was about 5 years ago, and I received a phone call from a buddy of mine named Joe the Plumber. And he invited me on a fishing trip to Costa Rica. They had an extra spot. Well, I didn't have the time, and I really didn't have the money, but I said, you know what the heck? I've got to find a way to make this happen. So sure enough, I did, and boy, was I glad I did. Oh, it was an incredible trip. The sunsets were spectacular in Costa Rica. The surfing was awesome. And the fishing was the best I had ever seen. We caught dolphin, we caught wahoo, yellowfin tuna, striped marlin, Pacific sailfish. We even had a 500-pound blue marlin on the line. I mean, this marlin was screaming the drag as the captain was scrambling in the back of the boat to clear the spread, and I was in the front, reaching, digging around, trying to find my camera. And this giant proponent marlin jumped out of the water just a few times, but I managed to snap about 10 frames and preserve this beautiful animal forever. It was an incredible trip, and I'm so glad that I made it. Don't let life pass you by. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, it would have been easy not to have gone on that trip, but I decided I would definitely find a way. I mean, think of what I would have missed out on had I not gone. My goal today is to inspire you through some stories and get you to take some action so that you don't let life pass you by. One of our fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Jeff Hood, was sharing a personal story with me the other day. See, when he was 16 years old, he had an argument with his grandmother. Well, yeah, these things kind of happen, but Jeff's grandmother decided she wasn't going to speak with him anymore. Unfortunately, 2 years later, she passed away, having never spoken to her grandson again. So reach out to those loved ones. Tell them that you love them. Don't let life pass you by. About 4 or 5 years ago, my brother, Dad, and I were duck hunting in Lake Okeechobee. We always did that every year. Well, my brother and I, we were whacking and stacking the ducks that day, and all of a sudden this group of 10 of them come in and start coming in the decoys, and for some reason my brother and I decided, well, let's not take a shot this time. So my dad stands up, bam, 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 fires 3 shots. Doesn't draw a single feather. Well, my brother and I didn't think too much about that, but keep in mind, this is the same man that had 20/15 vision. He was an excellent marksman, and he'd been hunting birds his entire life. Well, about 3 months after that last duck hunting trip we had, he was diagnosed with wet macular degeneration. He lost about 50% of his vision in his dominant eye. He hasn't picked up a shotgun or been hunting since. So you never know when things in your own life, your health, something might just change. So take advantage of it now. Don't let life pass you by. Well, a buddy of mine, Dave Brewer, called me up several years ago, and I hear in the background, I hear this noise. And all of a sudden I hear this whoosh. And I'm like, Dave, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm exercising the dog. I said, no, you're not. You're drinking a beer. He said, no, I'm really exercising the dog. Well, I am drinking a beer, but no, I've got my dog Alex over here. He's on the treadmill, so he's exercising. That was Dave. He was a character. He was a great dog handler. He was great with people, too. So about a month ago, Dave calls me up, invites me to come down to one of the NAVA training days, kind of work on my dog task. And I thought about it, but I don't know if I've got the time. Well, I don't want to spend the money on the gas to go down to Lake Wales. So he was coming from Pensacola. So I decided to pass. I knew there would be more trips like this. I was sharing some emails, some other pictures that I had about a little while back, and one of the guys emails me back and said, hey, did you hear about Dave? I'm like, no, what's going on with Dave? He said, well, his liver has failed. They called in hospice. And they gave him a week to live. That was last Sunday when I got that email. I could have been down there a month ago, seeing my buddy Dave again, taking pictures of him and his new puppy, but I just decided not to for whatever reason. So you need to take advantage of life. Go. Don't be lazy and sit on the couch. Don't let life pass you by. Well, enough of the sad ones there. Let me get a couple fun, happier ones in here. Snook fishing. My brother, Dad, and I used to always go snook fishing opening day. Well, the last few years, for some reason, we haven't been able to get together and make it. So I decided I was going to make it happen this year. So I kept the hurricanes away. I managed to convince my brother to go ahead and take a couple days off from his construction job. And I went ahead and was able to take some time from my busy schedule to get down there for opening snook day. And what a time we had. We caught 12 snook. I mean, some big fat monster ones, 30, 35 pounders. I took pictures of all those wonderful fish. And then we even caught 3 of them, 3 slot-sized fish as well, so we were able to keep. Wow. Tempura snook, garlic rice, hush puppies, coleslaw. Oh my goodness, it was a meal fit for a king. My parents can really, really cook. Boy, I'm glad I took the time to make that trip happen. Sometimes you just got to do it that way, and don't let life pass you by. Well, another friend of mine, he was doing a little deer hunting one day, and he shared with me this one story. He's sitting there, and he looks up, and there's this little baby spotted fawn kind of walking his direction. Well, he thinks to himself, duck down these bushes here. If that little spotted fawn comes all the way over here, what can a little innocent spotted fawn do? I think I'm gonna jump out, I'm gonna grab it, I'm gonna bear hug it. And so he's sitting there, he ducks down the bushes, and sure enough, that little baby deer is coming right over towards him. So he ducks down, and he's sitting there, and he almost lets out a giggle, because this thing is 5 feet away, and he just about can't contain himself. So he sits there, ducked down, sure enough, that fawn walks right in front of him. He jumps out, grabs a hold of that fawn. Before he could blink an eye, the fawn flips over, kicks him in the head, kicks him in the eye, a couple kicks to the chest, and takes off, scampering back to the woods to go forage for some more acorns. He's left there, hurt bad, bleeding from the head. He's got a black eye now, and he's got a couple bruised ribs. So, don't let life pass you by.
Well, once in a while you should.
Seize the moment. Just don't seize those little innocent baby fawns. I'll leave you with one more thing here. The late, great Benny Hill once said, never put off tomorrow what you can do today. Because if you do it today and you like it, you can do it again tomorrow. So take action when opportunity knocks. And don't let life pass you by. Mr. Toastmaster.